Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a PhD student in Brian Neff's lab. I am working on sunfish, bluegill, pumpkin seed, and hybrids at Lake Epinicon. The Neff lab has been working with these sunfish and Lake Epinicon at QUBS since 2001. But before I go into too much detail on my project, I'll toss it over to Tim Hain to talk a little bit more about sunfish first.
Hi, I'm Tim Hain. I did my PhD under Brian Neff at Lake Epinicon on bluegill sunfish. I started in 2004 and I've been working on them off and on since then. The reason why the Neff lab is so interested in bluegill sunfish is because of their mating system. If you've ever looked in a lake, you may have seen little bowl-shaped nests. Bluegill sunfish dig these nests by sweeping out the substrate using their caudal fin. These are the males that dig the nests, and after they dig their nests in colonies, they may try to attract a female to their colony. They're in these colonies of maybe as few as 10 to upwards of 100 males. And then a big swarm of females will come in and spawn with those males. The males are then left to care for the eggs by themselves, and the females go off to replenish their energy stores. They may spawn again later in the season. The males provide care for these young for up to 10 days, and they can lose up to 10% of their body weight in that time. This is a very costly behavior, and it takes them a long time to even grow big enough to have that kind of energy to provide care. In fact, these parental males are typically only mature at age 7, and they are about 20 centimeters long when they're mature. Of course, because it's so costly, there's an evolutionary advantage to be able to mature precociously and to avoid parental care altogether. And so for that reason, in this lake, we see what are called cuckolder males. And these cuckolder males take their name because they sort of steal fertilizations from that parental male. In the lake, there are young males who mature at age 2, and when they see a male and a female spawning and the female dipping on her side to release eggs, the sneaker will dash in from some vegetation beside the nest, release the sperm, and fertilize some eggs. He'll then take off and avoid care entirely. But as these sneaker males get bigger, from about 6 centimeters to 10 centimeters, they're still small enough to hang out on the side of the nest. But as they get bigger, they're not as good at hiding anymore. And they start to adopt what's called a female mimic tactic. They look like females. They smell like females. They have similar profiles in their hormones to females. And they behave like females. So in the same way that a male will spawn with a female, she dips on her side, these female mimics will wedge themselves in between a male and a spawning female, and they'll make the male perceive a second female in his nest. He thinks that he's getting all kinds of eggs, but in fact the second male is stealing some fertilizations from him. These cuckolders sort of intrude on about 10% of the female dips, and overall they fertilize about 20% of the eggs in a male's nest. In doing so, they avoid any parental care, and overall they have some mating success, but these female mimics die before they ever become parentals. They usually live to about 6 years old at the maximum. So that's the story for bluegill sunfish. Pumpkin seed sunfish are similar in that they spawn with females, they provide care for the young. There are cuckolders. We don't know as much about the age at their maturation, and we know that they do lose fertilizations to the cuckolders, but interestingly, they also lose fertilizations to bluegill cuckolders. And so these pumpkin seed sunfish are caring for not only their own offspring and the offspring of other pumpkin seeds that have entered their nests, they're also providing care for these hybrid sunfish. These hybrid sunfish are fascinating to us. They're often found as adults nesting in bluegill colonies, and they provide care for the young, but they seem to have very low fertility and fertilize almost none of the eggs in their nests. So Emma is investigating some of the questions about how these changes in paternity affect parental care by bluegill males, pumpkin seed males and by the hybrids. I'll let her tell you some more about that.
Thank you, Tim. That was a great explanation of sunfish. For my project, as Tim mentioned, I'm interested in parental care decisions that these sunfish are making. So I work with parental males from bluegill, pumpkin seed, and hybrid species. And what I do is I manipulate their paternity. So Tim had mentioned that the parental males perform the care, and this care can be quite costly. They don't eat, they lose weight, and ultimately with these cuckolders, these males aren't even guaranteed that the offspring in their nest are theirs. So how would you change your behavior in response to having high paternity or having low paternity? So I investigate that as well as why this is happening. So I work on hormones that are 11-ketotestosterone, so that's the fish testosterone like people would have, and prolactin, which is a really important hormone in nurturing behavior. So I look at nurturing behavior and aggression, and I look to see if these males change their behavior depending if they have high or low paternity, or perceived paternity for that matter. We do this by switching eggs between nests to lower paternity, as well as setting up little visual cues on spawning day that cuckolders were present at the nest for the whole day so that the male believes he's been cuckolded as well. I take blood samples to look at hormones, and I also look at genes to see what genes are involved in parental care. So we're hoping to see why bluegill and pumpkin seed change their behavior and sort of what's happening in hybrids for why they would do parental care when they actually have no paternity at all. So we're joined this year by Kevin, and we'll let him talk about himself a little bit and what he's doing with us this year.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm going into my third year at Western. I'm studying environmental science. My whole life I've been very interested in fish and wildlife, so I was very lucky to get to work with the Neff lab this summer and come up to Lake Opinicon to work with the sunfish population, and luckily I've got to learn a lot from Emma and Tim. So yeah, I've been very happy to help out.
Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully you learned a little bit about sunfish.
And I hope that the next time you catch a bluegill, you really appreciate how exciting their lives are underwater.
We hope you can come and join us next year in person at QUBS, and have a great summer. Bye.